Your last name is... No, but your last name.
Oh, is it by...
Yeah,
Oh, it's not bad. Oh, okay.
so when you get your photo, I'm going to swap it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm G.
I'm G too. I'm G-I.
G-A.
You're G. Okay, I'll be
G-A.
Me? Okay. Yeah.
This is a good place. The sun is not too bad. Okay.
Way at the end.
Me, and then I'll walk away so you can get me right here. This right here is a good size. I didn't know that it was not right.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
Yeah, because I went over there and the sun is not good right on your eyes.
I was looking because I said no, this is
Yeah, no, the sun is hits you right in the... Here, the sun hits you a little bit, but the picture's actually very good.
second event.
Right before I get off on the line, that's good. We're in the end and then
You're done? You're done?
So it'll go in exactly what's now, yeah, and then it'll complete, and then it'll just like,
Where's your tail?
finally got it right after 5 times. Kept doing different things from here. The last class I was finally able to watch it right on time. So we're always behind a few minutes.
Morning. Mic check. Good morning, folks. Let us please stand for the form of 2022.
I saw that over there.
Welcome all, distinguished guests, families, trustees, friends, my fellow faculty members, staff, ladies and gentlemen. How about one more round of applause for the sunny, classy form of 2022? Protocol also demands that I recognize those of you who are about to lead schools or who are leading schools, and at this juncture, I want to acknowledge the newly minted head of Fountain Valley School, Mrs. Megan Harlan, sitting to Mrs. Macabella. Board President Ben Pine, a graduate of the form of 1977, who will be here again next week, and a parent of 2 sons who know the circle probably even better than their father. Graduates Gordon of 2012 and Britton of 2015, who will also be here for the reunion. Welcome, the podium is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Macabella. I'm not sure if I want to know exactly what my sons know about the campus that I don't, but we'll leave that to next week. Good morning. On behalf of my fellow trustees here and elsewhere around the world, I would like to add my welcome to all of you here in person and virtually at the Groton School graduation of the form of 2022. We're going to get to a few more cheers. As we all know, it takes a village to support each of us through our formative years. And I think I would like to ask you of the form of 22 to stand up, turn around, and acknowledge not only your parents, but also the staff and faculty and friends who have helped you get through to graduation. Please give a loud cheer. Hearing the glorious choir sing this morning in a full chapel, it felt, actually almost brought tears to my eyes to know what everyone has been through over the last few years and to be able to start to get back to the traditions. It was a wonderful performance. And I have to say, because I hear this from Mr. Macabella all the time, the senior class of 2022 has been exemplary leaders through a challenging and pandemic-ridden year. And I'll just say thank you and congratulations for your leadership and help to make this year work. So I'm going to add my round again of applause. So there's sort of a method in my madness of getting some cheering going, which means you won't listen to me, which is for the next 5 minutes. But I actually do have something to say as someone who graduated in 1977, and believe it or not, we'll be celebrating his 45th reunion within the week. Those of you who are young, yes, there are people that old, still breathing. I would like to have 2 thoughts for you from a graduate's perspective. The first is around friendship and the importance and value of friendship through life. I think it is especially important for me as a graduate to make this comment to any graduating class. And I think you know this, but I'm going to reinforce. The friendships and the bonds that one creates here really do last a lifetime. It may not always seem evident in the next few years, but I can tell you from experience that we have all made friends on this campus for life, who will be there in good times and challenging times. And even though I may not have seen a classmate for 10 years or more, the bond of friendship is so strong that as we start catching up, the years dissolve and it seems like yesterday. And we just don't talk about the old days, we talk about everything. And those bonds, as I'm sure you know, but I again will reinforce, extend beyond your form, to other forms, the faculty, staff, of course, Mr. and Mrs. Macabella. I know they will stand you in good stead in all the years ahead, so please relish them and enjoy them and remember them. The second thought I have is about you, each of you defining who you are and not allowing others to define, or other events to define who you are. I found in life, school, and work that there is a strong tendency for others to define us, what we should do, where we should go, who we should see, and the list goes on, as I'm sure you know. I can tell you that in my late teens and early 20s, I was defined as a very different person but from how I thought about myself and how I ended up. There are those, in fact, still who are amazed that I actually was accepted into a top business school, never mind was able to have an exciting and fulfilling career at the Walt Disney Company. In truth, sometimes I'm amazed myself. The point is, at the end of the day, we, you and me, each of us should be the ones defining who we are. Defining oneself sometimes depends on the perspective one uses. When I formally retired from Disney, I will never forget the words of the then general counsel of the company, who told me how excited he was for me that I would be able to take my Disney blinders off. "What do you mean by that?" I asked. "Ben, every morning we as senior executives wake up and see the world through the Disney lens, with Disney blinders on that help us focus on what is important for our company. When you leave, you can take that lens away, take those blinders off, and see the world with a whole new, fresh, and open perspective." To be clear, there is nothing wrong with focusing on a task, a job, an assignment, or even making it through senior spring term at Groton, when I know there may have been many other things on your mind. Focus is how things get done. But as you graduate and go into the next phase of your life journeys, I encourage you to take those blinders away, not be defined by your past or this experience, but allow yourselves to explore all that is out there. If there was ever a time in your life to try something new, learn a new skill, take a special course, or take on a task that opens a new horizon, the next handful of years is one of the ideal times to do just that. Who knows what you may see, may discover, and may decide to pursue. Finally, sometimes part of defining oneself can be impacted by how one thinks about success and failure. Please do not be timid about exploring new horizons or trying something new because you think you may not be good at it or may fail. All too often we get bogged down with that word and fear its stigma and allow it to determine what we should do or how we should go about our business. Sadly, failure is a given in our lives. Not everything goes to plan, but through the process, we all have the opportunity to learn and grow. Along those lines, in a business setting, one of the most powerful moments of my career occurred during an ESPN senior management meeting in about 2010, when the then president of ESPN played 2 videotapes, 3 minutes each, to about 50 or so of us senior leaders. The first tape highlighted the successes of the past year, and there were a lot of them. The second highlighted the initiatives that didn't go so well or simply failed. One of those being ESPN's foray into the mobile handset business, which ultimately was shut down. You can imagine a room of some uneasy executives, particularly if you happen to be involved in one of the projects that didn't go so well. I will never forget his next words, though. He told us that he was as proud, if not more proud, of the second tape, the one that focused on the initiatives that didn't work, as the first. It showed that we were willing to try, to think out of the box, to go well beyond our comfort zone, and through it, we learned and grew as individuals and as a company. It was a truly inspiring moment. He was not going to let any of us obsess with what didn't work. He knew that we would move on and only get better. And indeed we did. The next several years were some of the most successful for ESPN, and the learnings from the failed ESPN-branded mobile business gave us the much-needed knowledge in the digital and mobile app space that enabled us to become a true leader in digital media within a year. As Groton's very own Franklin Roosevelt once said, "I have no expectations of making a hit every time I come to bat. What I seek is the highest possible batting average." Even though I was a very poor baseball player, I do know that in order to make a hit, you actually do have to take a swing. So as you go into the world beyond this beautiful circle, I encourage you to define who you are for yourself on your own terms, and when you are ready, Of course, be proud for your successes and achievements. You have certainly earned that. Congratulations. But don't get bogged down when something doesn't go the way you thought it would. Learn from it and move on. Figure out what is important to you, what you want to pursue and become involved in, and go for it. And never forget the friends you have made here and elsewhere along the way. Congratulations to each of you. Go well and all the best in all that you do. Thank you very much.
How do I follow that? Well, I have a few words for the sixth form. The sunny, classy form of 2022. They will depart triumphantly to become the recent graduating class of Groton School. When it comes to triumphs, conquering COVID by having uninterrupted in-person classes since the fall of 2020 ranks at or near the top. And for that, I think you deserve an applause. You stood tall, you were frustrated at some of our decisions. However, as we speak, our student positivity rate is 0%. At baccalaureate, I reminded you to stand unbowed and bear witness to some of the most amazing things you've experienced here. You witnessed the installation of buses that include women and people of color for the very first time. You bore witness to the building of the first net zero faculty housing on campus, as well as the first of its kind, John Goodenough lithium-ion solar panel farm that provides clean energy not only to the campus, but also to the town. During moments where many lack inspiration, you have taken in these moments of visible inclusion into your heart. We thank the trustees for acting without delay to transform this place, this space, this circle, for the good of people as well as for environmental sustainability. Therefore, it is poetic or almost symmetrical that the bus added to the schoolroom represent the same three continents from where the senior prefects and their forebears came to these United States. While credit is often given deservedly to who your senior and house prefects are, I always stress that those who elected them to represent the school deserve as much credit. Maya, Anthony, Yepsira, and Griffin, thank you for representing your formates, your families, and your school with your stellar character. Sunny classiform, do not speak in harsh tones about such amazing progress in your school. Do not allow naysayers to make you feel bad about your beloved Groton. Now, despite your achievements, there is unfinished business here at our school as well as in the world. We continue to seek effective vaccines against malaria, HIV and AIDS, and future and current COVID challenges. We do this in a climate of global challenges. that threaten to weaken our democratic institutions. Some of these institutions are fragile and are beginning to show cracks that threaten liberty in our world order. So I urge you to lean in ever so intently on the pillars that have undergirded our school in its 138 years of existence. These pillars of scholarship, spirituality, service, and globalism will continue to strengthen democracy, protect the innocent, make us act for the greater good as we prioritize the lives of all living organisms in our fragile environment. Groton has equipped you to play your part. Impact starts with the individual. Above all, as a sunny, classy form, lead with a dose of humility. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce your sixth form class speaker, Stephen Hauchak Pang, of the form of 2022.
I think that was Kellen's idea. He told me to do that. What is mass? What makes things heavy? How often do we think about that? Like, what makes this pencil weigh what it weighs? Well, if you ask a chemist, he'll tell you that you break it down. It's the molecules that make it heavy. But what good does that do us? Because what makes the molecules heavy? Well, the atoms. The atoms, that's what makes things heavy. But then again, what makes the atoms heavy? So we slice it up, and we look at the quarks. But what makes the quarks heavy? And the truth is, until pretty recently, nobody, not even scientists, had any idea what mass actually comes from. They just assumed, like any chemist would, that it just was. And then in 1983, a couple physicists were studying the weak force, the force responsible for particle decay, when they realized that somehow the force they were studying had a mass. Right? Wait, what does that even mean? How can a force have mass? If you were standing here and I pushed you, how can there be a mass associated with that action? From that discovery, the discovery that forces have mass, scientists started thinking about what really makes things heavy. And a couple years ago, in 2012, they found what they were looking for. As it turns out, there's this field called the Higgs Field, and it's always around us. And you can think of it like this. Imagine you're in the schoolroom and you're walking through a bunch of second formers. You can probably get from one end to the other pretty easily. But now imagine you have a box of pizza. Well, now they're all going to swarm you, and it's much harder for you to make it to the other side. Basically, the more metaphorical pizza you have, the more you interact with the Higgs field, the heavier you are. That's crazy. Because for all of human history, we've just thought of mass as something elemental. I mean, I thought of mass as something elemental. And now that we know that the Higgs field exists, we've unlocked a fundamental part of the universe we never would have had access to. Now, I bring up the Higgs field and the Higgs boson for two reasons. The first is that during a conversation a few weeks ago, Mr. Macavella mistakenly referred to me as a humanities kid. And I've been outraged about that ever since. But the second reason is that The Higgs field explains one of the most fundamental properties of the universe, mass. And we never would have discovered it if not for a few physicists studying the decay of subatomic particles. These physicists ventured into the subatomic world, a universe which few people ever get to explore. A universe where forces have mass. And from this wacky environment, they pulled out insights which would redefine how we understand everything. Every time someone is put in an unusual situation, an unconventional environment, they have the opportunity of extracting extraordinary pieces of knowledge which are inaccessible to the rest of the world. And in my eyes, we are scientists too. Researchers who have spent the last 4 years of our lives studying one of the strangest, weirdest places on the face of the earth, the Groton School. Just like scientists, we've been given access to a special universe that most people can only dream of. And just like a universe where forces have mass, this rare, exceptional environment teaches us extraordinary lessons. Lessons which most people in the world never get the opportunity to learn. When Gia hurt his foot in the fall, the trainers told him he would have to wear a boot for about 6 weeks. If you've seen him recently, it's been 6 months, and he's still wearing it. And all his orthopedic doctors were baffled. He takes such good care of his ankle, they said. He doesn't run, he limits his walking. What could be slowing down his recovery? But if you've ever taken a picture with Gio, you'd know exactly why his foot hasn't healed yet. Because in every photo people take, no matter the circumstance, he is always on the tip of his toes, trying to add a good 5 inches to his height. He does that about 5 times a day. It's literally an overuse injury. So no wonder his foot hasn't healed properly. Gio's burning need to feel taller than he is the reason why he can't run today. But yesterday afternoon, Gia and I took a photo with the one and only Stanley Spence. And as always, Gia stood on the tip of his toes, and then he turns right. And Stanley's still towering over him. And forever cemented in that photo is the look of defeat and distraught in Gia's eyes as he slumps back down to his normal height. As much as we want to laugh at Gio, and as laughable as Gia is, all of us kind of act like that sometimes. Whether we like it or not, our perception of our own abilities informs our sense of self-worth. And since we'd all like to be more worthy than we are, we tend to step on our own metaphorical tiptoes, even when it hurts us. Think about it. It's easier to persuade yourself that you're smarter than you really are if you had better grades. Often, we pursue that at the expense of actual learning. It's easier to persuade ourselves that we are talented and special if we win official awards and get into an Ivy League school. And so we spend much of our time chasing after these ultimately meaningless material symbols of excellence, trying to trick ourselves into thinking we're better than we actually are. But the great thing about going to a school with so many smart, young, talented kids is that we get put in our place. The other day, I walked out of the Jonathan Choate geometry competition feeling pretty proud of myself. They were hard questions, and I was feeling pretty confident about 8 out of 15 of them. And so I turned to Torrin Stesic, and I go, just getting ready to show off. Hey, Torrin, how many do you think you got? And Torrin looks back at me and goes, I'm pretty sure I got all of them, but I could be wrong. And that shut me up real quick. But I'm used to it. Through equally embarrassing experiences, I've learned that I'll never be better than John Rogers at Latin, that I'll never be better than Robin Huntington at math, that I'll never be better than Creed is at singing, and that I'll never be better than Amelia at, anything. From the moment I set foot on this circle, you all have forced me to acknowledge my own strengths and weaknesses. And I know that I've done the same for some of you. Ian knows that he'll never beat me at Pokemon Showdown. Gia knows that he'll never beat me at debate. And Senor Connor, the renowned chess champion, will know never to underestimate a queenside pawn storm. Sometimes when I'm tired and burnt out, I just wander around the schoolhouse in a cloud of admiration. Admiration for Maya Varkey's leadership ability and aura of confidence. Admiration for Theo's intellectual independence. Admiration for Jack's warmth, for Griffin Elliott's remarkable strength of character, and Stanley's warm smile and firm handshake. Being humbled by our peers is a staple of the Groton experience. No matter how smart or talented we think we are, Groton takes our insufficiencies, shoves it down our throats, and forces us to make peace with it. And it makes it really hard for us to keep lying to ourselves about how special we are. I sometimes lose track of how incredible this gift is. If we didn't have such an incredible group of gifted young students, what would have forced us to begin breaking down our instinct for self-deception? To stop spending all of our time feeding our insecurities with prizes and medals and whatnot? This freedom from ourselves is special, and it's something most of the world doesn't get. But the gifts of Groton's unique environments don't stop here. Because after Groton breaks down the delusions that gives us self-knowledge, it forces us to search for what really motivates us. Groton is one of the safest places to be alive in all of human history. Even at a time like this, we are insulated from illness and hunger and crime and persecution. We have the luxury of knowing that if today doesn't go well and tomorrow doesn't go well, we still have vibrant, bright futures ahead of ourselves. But this luxury cuts both ways. Because we are so safe, nothing really forces us to do anything. Like, if a 17th century serf didn't want to work, he would starve. If a prehistoric caveman didn't run, he'd get eaten by a lion. But if I don't do my homework, my teacher will lecture me a little bit, and then I'll be fine. So why do it? I know it sounds a little weird to complain about the fact that I'm not being mauled by a Paleolithic beast. But it does make it a lot easier to get the work. Think about it. As hard as AP Latin was for all of us, it was never very difficult to get the work done because you knew that if you didn't, you'd be facing the unbridled wrath of Miss Martin Nelson. Miss Martin Nelson, Gia wrote that joke, so it's not related to me. My friends and I often joke that every proper Groton student goes through a nihilist phase. And no wonder. Groton runs on motivation. Because we don't have the fear of being consumed by large animals, large prehistoric mammals, we have to find an alternate fuel source for the work that we do. But the beauty of Groton is that we never have to look too long. Because it's on the days when you feel like you've burnt out your fuel and can't go any further that you take a walk down to the tree line and swipe your fingers through the leaves. When you plunge your hand into the gnash and feel the beating heart of the cosmos. It's when you don't know why you're doing anything anymore that you open the Aeneid for the first time just for fun and let Virgil's beautiful verses pour into your heart. It's when we feel crushed and defeated that we take walks with Annie around the circle, that we sit down next to Wren on the rightmost schoolhouse bench, that we watch fireflies at sunset with Johnny and cry over girls, and the continual delay of the 5th Shrek movie. Seriously, DreamWorks, where is it? We're all waiting. Because our campus is situated in the middle of an amazing forest, we begin to fall in love with nature. Because of our vast libraries and extraordinary teachers, we begin to fall in love with learning. Because we are all stuffed together in the same tight-knit space, that we begin to fall in love with each other. You may not have felt all these kinds of love at Groton, but I think you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who has not felt any of them. And beginning with the trees, the books, the people around us, we catch glimpses into the majestic beauty of the universe. Because as much as the nature around us is mystical and sublime and deserves to be protected, there is nature all over the world which is just as beautiful, which needs our help just as much. Because as much as we love and admire the learning we do at Groton, there is so much more beauty to be absorbed from so many more books and teachers. Because as much as we love the people around us and would do anything for them, there are so many people in the world who are just as deserving of love. People who need our help just as badly. Here at Groton, we take impact for granted because we know that as a forum, we wield the financial and intellectual power we need to change the lives of millions of people. But there is no shortage of power in the world. There are thousands of billionaires and millions of geniuses working tirelessly to further their own self-interest. Groton teaches us that it's not the magnitude of power that matters, but the direction, the flavor. That our greatest weapon as a Grotonian is not in our brain, nor in our wallets, but in our hearts. We, unlike most of the world, have been given the opportunity to shed our own self-deception and set our crosshairs firmly on the pursuit of love and compassion. One early morning this spring, I was walking barefoot across the circle when I felt a low rumbling beneath my feet, and I turned to see everything shaking. St. John's Chapel quivering in anticipation. But as quickly as it started, it faded. And when I talked to people about it at breakfast, nobody else had felt a thing, so I thought I must have made it up. But as we get closer to graduation, the rumblings become more frequent and louder. And I think I finally know the reason. It's because since we set foot on the circle, something has been brewing under the earth. Something powerful. And Groton recognized how dangerous this extraordinary force could be if it was released in the world without humility and compassion. And so it opened itself up and swallowed us whole. And fermented in the stomach of this remarkable institution, this power developed a specific vintage, a Grotonian flavor. It freed itself from the hunger of self-deception, and it fell more and more in love with the world. And today, after this ceremony, the circle is going to split open, and 1 million vibrant lights are going to pour into the world. And as we sweep across the earth, in our fantastic gust of love and compassion, the demons and furies and whatever other creatures are out there trying to bring suffering and hatred into the world, they will see us and they will quiver in fear because they will hear our roar. And it goes something like this. We are the Groton class of 2022, and we're coming for you.
Words of our senior prefects, Maya Vaki and Anthony Wright. Maya. How time flies. I remember vividly when you were under 10 and would come to campus to visit your older siblings. You could pronounce Makubela like a native of the Xhosa people. And then you matriculated at Groton as a student and you became polished, erudite, sophisticated, evolved, and you just could no longer say Makubela. I am happy that the one thing you never lost is your disarming smile. Whenever you came to my office to ask for a favor for your form, and this was quite frequent, all you and Anthony needed to do was smile. And I would say, okay, the school will pay for that. You'll have Sunset Farm. How could anyone say no to Maya? When I first said you should leave the school intact and not in tatters, you nodded in agreement. I'm happy to say you led, and the community is intact. Keep smiling all the way to your shining and bright future. I'll turn to Anthony before I announce this prize. Anthony, yet another $1 million smile. Come to think of it, this is the form, as I've said repeatedly, with the best smiles. When I think of students who are teachable, you, Anthony, come to mind. From the first time I met you at Beacon Academy, at an event, I knew you were a winner. You are fiercely loyal to your form mates, as well as to your friends you grew up with. When you came with yet another request for fun for your form, I reminded you to start with thank you before you say please. Little did I know that you would take this to heart, and with Maya, go to Mrs. Makubela to ask what my favorite treats were. You bought me 2 packets of my favorite shortbread cookies. I am not embarrassed to say they didn't make it home. Sorry, Mrs. Makubela. Generous with your smile to your friends and advisor and her headmaster spouse, you brought joy and leadership to your school. The Charles Lanier Appleton Prize is awarded to 2 members of the 6th form who have greatly served the school. The form of 2022 honorees are Maya Vaki and Anthony Wright. The Asma Girl Hassan Form of 1993 Circle Voice Journalism Prize acknowledges outstanding leadership in creating, editing, and producing the school's newspaper. This award goes to 2 students, Alison Jiang and Tyler Weisberg. The Tronic Award is given in honor of Michael G. Tronic and is awarded to a member of the 6th form who has made especially good use of the library resources and shown a strong interest in the life of the mind. Now, this 6th former is Ren Fortunov. The Bishop Julius Atwood Literature and History Prize is given by the late Right Reverend Julius Atwood to the best scholar in the combined fields of history and literature. This award goes to Jasmine Garcia. The Butler Prize for Excellence in English is given by Mrs. Gilbert Butler and is awarded to John Rogers. Perry History Prize is given by Mrs. Eliza Endicott Perry to the best scholar in the field of history. This year's winner is Rufus Knappel. The George Livingston Nichols Prize for the best essay on a historical subject is awarded to Theodore Gillibrand. The Rogers V. Scudder Classics Prize is given in memory of Rogers Scudder, a distinguished teacher of classics at Groton and a beloved member of this community. This prize goes to John Rogers. The Franklin D. Roosevelt Debating Prize is given in memory of Franklin D. Roosevelt, form of 1900, by W. Averill Harriman, form of 1909. This year's two winners are Jia Cheng Kang and Stephen Pang. The Endicott Peabody Memorial Prize is given in memory of the Reverend Endicott Peabody by the Sixth Form of 1945 for excellence in the field of religion and ethics. This is awarded to Jacinta Lopez. The Isaac Jackson Memorial Prize is awarded to the best mathematics scholar in the upper school. This prize goes to Amelia Lee. The New England Science Teachers Award goes to the student or students who through personal initiative has or have, that's quite a word, done the most to promote awareness of science or technology. This year's prize goes to two students, Robin Huntington and Ian Bayliss. The Thorpe Science Prize is given by Mrs. Warren Thorpe to members of the Sixth Form who have been the most successful in developing an appreciation of the spirit and meaning of science, and this Sixth Former is Noemi Iwasaki. The Bertrand B. Hopkins Environmental Sciences Prize is given by the form of 1948. It is awarded annually to a student who has demonstrated outstanding achievements in environmental studies. This year's student is Amelia Lee. The World Language Prize goes to two students, Julia Makanoff and Tommy Giro. The Hudson Music Prize is given by the Friends of William Clark Hudson, form of 1956, to show the recognition of outstanding effort and progress in music during the school year. This prize goes to Alison Jiang. The Choir Cup, established in 1915, is awarded annually to the chorister showing greatest improvement in musical growth, in sight reading, and vocal technique. This year's award goes to two choristers, Rufus Knoppel and John Rogers. The Photography Prize goes to Tyler Weisberg. The Reverend Frederick R. Kellogg Upper School Art Prize is given in his memory in recognition of distinguished work in art. This prize goes to Noemi Iwasaki. The Dennis Crowley Drama Prize is given by Todd C. Bartels, form of 2001, to a member of the sixth form who has made the greatest contribution to the theater program. This student is Alex Kirshner. The Reginald Fink Jr. Medal is given by the sixth form of 1928 in memory of First Lieutenant Reginald Fink Jr. and is awarded to a member of the sixth form who has shown in athletics qualities of perseverance, courage, and unselfish sportsmanship. This year's honor goes to Patty Eldridge. The Cornelia Emery Frothingham Athletic Prize is given by her parents and awarded to a member of the sixth form who has demonstrated all-round athletic ability and has shown exemplary qualities of leadership and sportsmanship. This prize goes to Kali Messina. The Elizabeth and Marjorie Peabody Award is given to a member of the sixth form, other than a school prefect, whose contributions to the community demonstrate sensitivity, strength of character, leadership, and integrity. This year's winner is Naomi Boateng. The William V. Larkin Form of 1972 Award is given to the Groton student who best exemplifies courage and perseverance in meeting a challenge or overcoming adversity. This prize goes to Julia Markanoff. The final award, the Carroll and John King Hodges Prize, is given in memory of Carroll Hodges, form of 1905, and John King Hodges, form of 1910. In recognition of his cheerfulness, generosity, and service for the greater good, I would like to honor Jack Sperling. Now I would like to ask Theo Gillibrand to introduce our Distinguished Prize Day speaker.
Good morning, fellow Groton community. It is my pleasure to introduce today's keynote speaker, United States Senator from New York, and my mother, the Honorable Kirsten E Gillibrand. Born and raised in upstate New York, Senator Gillibrand is a graduate of the Emma Willard School, where she was head of the Weekend Activities Committee and was responsible for planning all the fun dances and parties. She was also captain for the varsity tennis team and sold advertisements for the school newspaper. Later, she earned her bachelor's from Dartmouth College, where she was undefeated her senior year on the squash team and took photographs for the yearbook. Finally, she earned her law degree from UCLA, where she simply studied all the time. After serving as a law clerk on the Second Circuit Court of Appeals and working as an attorney in New York City for more than a decade, Senator Gillibrand returned home to upstate New York to practice law and run for Congress. She became a member of Congress in 2007, first in the House of Representatives and then in the Senate in 2009. Senator Gillibrand's signature accomplishments in the Senate include repealing the discriminatory Don't Ask, Don't Tell military policy, passing the 9/11 health bill to provide health care for first responders, passing the SOC Act, banning insider trading by members of Congress, ending mandatory arbitration for sexual assault and sexual harassment claims in the workplace, and creating the first national cyber academy to train cyber defenders and experts for the federal government. Today, she serves on the Senate Agriculture, Armed Services, and Intelligence committees. However, Senator Gillibrand's favorite responsibility has been to her family, raising two wonderful, well-behaved children. namely me and my brother Henry. My mother inspires me to be the best that I can be, so please join me in welcoming her today.
Well, thank you, Theo. Very well done. Thank you. Good morning to everyone here at Groton. It is my pleasure to be here to talk to all of you today. I want to thank our headmaster, Macabella, for his extraordinary leadership, President Pine for his very wise words, the Board of Trustees for their constant effort and work, the faculty who have never given up, the staff, and all the parents and families that are here to celebrate you. Congratulations to the Forum of 2022. It is such a pleasure to be here, and I am proud of each and every one of you. Graduating from one of the most selective, rigorous, and prestigious institutions of learning in this country is no small feat. And I know it's been a very difficult past few years. But through it all, you did stay resilient, and you did adapt. That resiliency will likely define you and your entire generation. And perhaps that drive and dedication that you developed will be the one thing you will need most in the years to come. You are all graduating at a time with which will likely have fewer rights than the generations before you, when a woman or a transgender person could be arrested or even jailed for making choices about his or her own body. You're graduating a time when climate change, student loan debt, gun violence, and the rising cost of living are making life much more difficult and dangerous than in previous generations. And yet, I have such tremendous faith in you. I have faith that what you've learned throughout these past few years has given you the grit and resilience you will need to meet these challenges head on. Together, you are all full of light and hope. You have already shown incredible generosity to one another. But with the many privileges and advantages that you enjoy, you also have exceptional responsibility to spread that light that you carry. But what does this actually mean? The gospel calls believers to be the light of the world and teaches that the light shines in darkness and the darkness has not overcome it. The Jewish tradition looks to the book of Psalms. For with you is the fountain of light. Your light, we see light. The Quran tells its believers, light upon light, God guides whoever he wills to his light. The Buddhists believe if one lights a fire for others, one will brighten one's own way. Sacred Hindu texts acts, light us every day with loving kindness. Beyond faith traditions, thought leaders also speak about it. MLK Jr. explained, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. Maya Angelou perfectly stated, if one has courage, nothing can dim the light which shines from within. For each of you in the years to come, focus on being that one voice in every conversation who urges the right thing, the one who finds the common ground, the one who eases the tensions of a moment. To be the light in a room means giving to others and serving those most in need. Leading through service is hard. You need to know and understand the views of those around you. You need to spend more time listening than talking. And remember, it does not need to be a big gesture every time. Sometimes it's the smallest, simplest thing, making the loner feel welcome, offering kind words instead of staying silent. Offering just one example, and I promise this will be the only time I call him out, I want to share you how I see my son Theo's potential. Despite all his successes over many years, I'm most proud of him for caring about his younger team members by staying on the JV soccer team his senior year. By that one very simple decision, he paid it forward, like the sixth formers who did that for him when he was a third former, to make the experience fun and rewarding and the source of love and camaraderie when it could have been something entirely different. Thank you, Theo, for that first step to put others before yourself to lead through service. I've spent the last 55 years figuring out what being the light means to me, and I still spend time thinking about it. But to speed you on your journey, I'm offering you today some very simple guideposts that can be remembered as my congrats, C-O-N-G-R-A-T-S, to you. C stands for courage. We have often been called to be bold, brave, and courageous. Even more importantly, we are often placed in situations and challenges because we are called for exactly that moment in time, to be brave and to stand up for someone or a principle or a goal. We can never know why we are called to a certain time and place to speak up or fight hard or make a difference, but look for those moments in your life. For Harriet Tubman, it was when she was 27 and decided not only to escape from enslavement, but to go back over and over again to save her family and others, and became the greatest conductor in the Underground Railroad. For Teddy Roosevelt, it was when he created the United States Forest Service, establishing 150 national forests, placing approximately 230 million acres in public lands. For the Parkland kids, it was when they marched on Washington and said never again. So what will that moment be for each one of you? O is for opportunity. Be open to every opportunity. Take risks and never fear failure. Failure is instructive. Abraham Lincoln was one of the biggest failures before he was one of our nation's most important presidents. He lost 7 elections. 1 for state legislature, twice for Speaker of the Illinois House, once for Congress, twice for U.S. Senate, and once for Vice President, all before he ran for president and won. He said, "The probability that we may fall in the struggle ought not deter us from the support of a cause we believe to be just." Serena Williams knew this and never accepted failure. Despite years of discrimination, she persevered and paved the way for black women in tennis for generations. She said, "It takes a setback to get you jump-started and on your way." I largely learned this lesson when I was your age, and it's only proved true my whole life. At your age, I played tennis in high school, and in college, I learned how to play squash for Dartmouth. And as every single athlete in the room knows, you get better every time you play, win or lose, and losses teach you more because you know where you have to improve. By my senior year, I was undefeated. I do not remember any of my victories. I remember all of the formative losses where I had to play through tears and embarrassment for being so outmatched. Those failures made me a better player, and it's been just as true in the U.S. Senate. I've been working for nearly a decade to try to change how the military justice system works, and I've fought with colleagues like Senator Lindsey Graham from South Carolina every single year. But through that battle, we found one common goal and one common ground in a related place: getting rid of the mandatory arbitration clauses in employment contracts. So if you are sexually harassed or sexually assaulted in the workplace, you can actually now go to seek justice in the court of law. That one small area of agreement that Lindsay and I had was just signed into law. It changed 60 million employment contracts overnight. So trying, failing, starting again differently and with a different tack just made me better. It made me stronger and smarter. And windows are always opened when doors are shut. You just need to be open to what that next opportunity is. N is for nature. We must enjoy the natural world and protect our planet. It will be the source of our own renewal and our greatest hope for the future. Studies show that spending time in nature enhances one's health and well-being. In Japan, people spend time walking in the forest to clear their thinking and improve their health. It's called Shinrin-yoku, and it means forest bathing. Ladies like me have to go to fancy spas to learn about it, but not you. You just have to do some very simple things. Unplug, step away from the computer, go on hikes, stroll on a beach, jump in a lake, and walk barefoot in the grass. For your generation and the next, there is no greater ambition to build hope for the future than stopping or stalling global climate change. As of today, almost every country each has pledged to reach net zero emissions by 2050, but almost none are on track to reach it. 3 of the last 7 years have been the hottest on record. Experts estimate that droughts and flooding will increase, storms will be more violent and destructive, and within 50 years, up to 3 billion people will be living in climate conditions deemed unsuitable for human life to flourish. Will you help solve this problem for our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and all of humankind? G, we're in congrats. G is for gratitude. Gratitude is perhaps the most powerful way to spread light into the world. When you start each day from a place of counting your blessings and seeing the good around you, it actually becomes infectious. If you're the kid who is always looking on the bright side, noticing what's wonderful about the moment or the people around you, you are the kid people want to be with. If you're not that person, you certainly can be. Whenever you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious, start thinking about what you are most grateful for. I call it the grateful game. I do it with my family, my staff, or anybody who knows me well. It is the biggest mood changer I know. Start your day with 3 things you are grateful for. Maybe even write them down and keep a gratitude journal. And think about them. You will see how quickly your mood changes when you focus on what you have and what you love, and not what you don't have or what you hate. Hopefully, all of you spend time today thanking your teachers, your counselors, your family, your friends for all the support they've given you over these last several years. R is for reflection, discernment, and wisdom. I don't know if anybody was listening in chapel this morning, but the reading was from the book of Proverbs about how valuable wisdom is. It has a unique power to light our paths. But how does one get wisdom? How do you acquire discernment? You can reflect on it and meditate on it. You can pray for it. You can ask help from those who are older and wiser. You can read books. You can listen to your teachers and coaches. I know this may provoke an eye roll, but it's really important to take time to talk to your parents and your grandparents, the older and wiser family members who you look up to for life advice. They've lived a full life. They've made every mistake at least once. Stay curious, use your imagination, and learn by doing and seek answers. A is for ambition in the face of adversity. First of all, for each of you here, dream big. Don't let anyone limit your choices, your vision, or your dreams. If you can imagine it, you can be it. One of the most successful businesswomen in the world had an idea for women's undergarments. She wanted a product for herself that hadn't yet been invented. Sarah Blakely was the youngest self-made billionaire when her company Spanx sold the must-have items for women everywhere. She said, "Whatever you can think, you can create. You just have to have a clear vision." Second, never, ever, ever give up. It's literally the only time you are guaranteed to lose. You must decide to keep trying and endure and to keep moving forward. Renowned physicist Marie Curie said, "Life is not easy for any of us, but what of that? We must have perseverance and above all, confidence in ourselves. We must believe that we are gifted for something and that this thing, at whatever cost, must be attained." T is for talents. Use your unique gifts and talents. Do not hide them. Do not ignore them. We each have been placed here at this time and this place to make a choice whether to use your talents for yourselves or for the good of the world. Will you decide to help those most in need, solve the big problems, cure cancer? Each of you has a unique skill and gift to give, maybe a superpower or two. Mine happen to be patience and positivity. They allow me to work for years with colleagues across the aisle on our shared interests and goals. I worked with Senator Lummis, a conservative from Wyoming, on creating a base regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies. I worked with Senator Ernst, a conservative from Iowa, on reforming our military justice system. I worked with Senator Sass, a conservative from Nebraska, on creating a national civilian cyber academy to train our next generation of cyber defenders tuition-free in exchange for 5 years of public service. I can imagine all of you finding that place where you personally can make a difference. One option I hope you all consider at least one time in your life is to serve your community. The feeling of helping others, serving others, putting others before yourself is perhaps the most rewarding and empowering feeling any person can ever have. Your light shines brighter and it transforms you. In the simplest of terms, service is about love. Loving your neighbor as yourself. If we all cared about one another, we would have much less stress, strife, and division, and far greater happiness and productivity in society. It would revolutionize the economy and create a more helpful future. And last but not least is S for seasons. It's a reminder that everything has a season. Some times are very, very good, and other times simply are not. But all seasons turn and pass. Your grandparents understand this very well. They've lived it. We do know pain and suffering do not last forever. In the end, all tears will be wiped away. And there will always be time for rejoicing. And this is that joyous time to rejoice for each one of you. We must lift our eyes to the heavens in gratitude, to beam with pride and joy, and to let out that sigh of relief and that shout for victory of all that has been overcome. To the Forum of 2022, I offer these congratulations for today and for every step it took to get you here. I look forward to all the amazing things that I know you will achieve, not only in the next few years, but in your future lives. Congrats.
I know you are classy and sunny, but are you ready? Get ready. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. The Diploma Presentation. Ziad Abdelrahman. Aiden Bassem Amali, summa cum laude. Ian James Bayliss, cum laude. Charles Boyd Curtis Beard, magna cum laude. Creed Ilan Bellamy, cum laude. Naomi Erin Agnayim, Boateng, cum laude. Elise Idris Cabrera, cum laude. Alexandra Maria Kanelakis, cum laude. Leah Christina Kanayakis, cum laude. Where is Mr. Capen? Okay. Walden James Capen, summa cum laude. Letitia Eden Kaspersen. Evan Junghoon Che, summa cum laude. Antonio James Colarusso, cum laude. Grace Ann Crowley, magna cum laude. Sobenna Gwendolyn Egwekwe. Sophia Deng, summa cum laude. John Mark Egot, summa cum laude. Sebastian Elliot El Haj, cum laude. Patrick Olsen Elridge, cum laude. Griffin Chase Elliott, magna cum laude. Johnny Fan, cum laude. Ella Lane Ferrucci, magna cum laude. Ren Sojourner Fortunov, cum laude. Nadia Furey, cum laude. Jasmine Marie Garcia, summa cum laude. Theodore Ignatius Gillibrand, summa cum laude. Thomas Giroux, magna cum laude. Maya Gitte, cum laude. Hannah Risa Gold, magna cum laude. Yepsira Mitiku Kuksa Abue, cum laude. Jared Kyle Gura, summa cum laude. Rami Hahami, summa cum laude. Connor Akins Hall. Samuel James Harris, magna cum laude. Robin Winship Huntington, summa cum laude. Quinn Davis Eisenstadt, cum laude. Noemi Iwasaki, summa cum laude. Henry Morgan Jemison, magna cum laude. Alison Jai Jiang, summa cum laude. Andrew Liu Johnson, magna cum laude. Griffin Lagrange Johnson, magna cum laude. Benjamin Philip Allen Jones. Oluwaseyi Christopher Kadiri, cum laude. Edric Khan, summa cum laude. Jia Chang Khan, summa cum laude. Alexandra Clotilde de Montmolin Kirchner, magna cum laude. Rufus Hamilton Knappel, summa cum laude. Amelia Zichiang Lee, summa cum laude. Anya Elizabeth Lai, summa cum laude. Emily W. Lee, magna cum laude. Eugene Lim, summa cum laude. Julia Long Lin, magna cum laude. Jacinta Lopez, cum laude. Phoebe Gwynand Lynch, summa cum laude. Julia Juliet Markanov. Brian Andrew McLachlan. Caroline Grace Messina, magna cum laude. William Maxwell Knoll, cum laude. Kellen John O'Donnell. Stephen Hauchak Pank, summa cum laude. Nathan Minhyuk Park, cum laude. Xiang Yu Annie Pei, magna cum laude. Brandon Zachary Perlik, summa cum laude. Emily Belen Perez, magna cum laude. Joshua Matthew Paulin, cum laude. Alessandra Mary Powell, cum laude. Catherine Julia Resendez, magna cum laude. Stanislas Francois René Robert, summa cum laude. John Burton Rogers III, summa cum laude. Ashley Brooke Rosenblum, summa cum laude. Carlos Soto. Lydia Mary Spader, magna cum laude. Stanley Gamble Spence, cum laude. John William Sperling, Jr., cum laude. Torin Alexander Stasek, summa cum laude. Alva Logan Ayala Taylor, cum laude. Kyle Joseph Topes. Gwyneth Toriani, cum laude. Julia Simon Strobridge, magna cum laude. Maya Anna Vaki, magna cum laude. Fiorenza Viacava Vera. Jack Ki Hao Wang, magna cum laude. Tyler Jack Fang Weisberg, magna cum laude. Anthony Christopher Wright II, magna cum laude. Iris Rohong Wu, summa cum laude. This concludes the formal presentation of diplomas to the sunny, classy form of 2022. I implore you to seek positivity, or as we say in chemistry, go and become nucleophiles. The world needs you to do the greater good. Humanity needs you to do the greater good. Groton is proud of you. You may go in peace as long as you go as nucleophiles. Handshaking will begin promptly at 1:30 p.m. In our Zulu language, and I honor a few South Africans in the audience, we say hamba kahle, and in English you say go well. Lunch is served. Lunch is served. Sunny, classy. Classy, sunny. Lunch is served under the tent for parents and the sixth form.